menjadi baik.
どうぞ。アナウンスを始めますよ。いいですか？ Good afternoon. Can you all hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Thank you. Hearty
Yes,
welcome to the symposium. Before we start, please note that Kyoto University will take several screenshots and video of the Zoom webinar. This is to compile website articles and reports of the organizers. Please kindly refrain from recording the talk on your site. We'll be starting the symposium now. The virtual background for today can be found in the chat box, so if you want to wear the same uniform, please use that image. Okay, distinguished guests, we are very happy to welcome all of you to the second day of JASTIP Symposium titled Co-Creative Mechanism in STI Coordination between Japan and ASEAN. Spice up our scientific project with STI coordinators. My name is Chisato Saito from Kyoto University Research Administration Office and ASEAN Center. This symposium was generously supported by ASEAN Committee on Science, Technology and Innovation, COSTI, and Ministry of Higher Education, Science, Research and Innovation in Thailand. We want to thank co-organizers, notably University of Malaya, the Malaysian Association of Research Managers and Administrations, my RMA, Ministry of Industry, Science, Technology and Innovation in Cambodia. Our gratitude goes also to the chairs and panelists from C Forum, Thai Young Scientists Academy, ASEAN Science and Technology Fellows, ASEAN Young Scientists Academy. We are very happy to welcome all participants. We have about 100 registrants from ministries, university and research institutes, and various agencies from all ASEAN member states, Japan, and other countries. Now, we'll have the opening remarks. Please kindly mute your microphone except the speakers. We now first welcome the first opening remark by Dr. Eiji Nawata. He's a director of Kyoto University ASEAN Center, a leader of JASTIP Work Package 1, and former Dean of the Graduate School of Kyoto University. He has 30 or 40 long experience working with ASEAN in the field of tropical agriculture as a JICA expert, as a leader of multilateral educational program with AUN, and also a liberal arts and science seminar overseas for Japanese students and ASEAN students. Nawata Sensei, are you ready to give a remark?
Yes. Thank you very much, Saito-san. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Nawata, the director of Kyoto University ASEAN Center, just as Saito-san introduced now. Welcome to session 2 of JASTIP Symposium this year. I think many of you attended yesterday's session regarding the co-creative mechanism in STI coordination. Active discussion was carried out yesterday. Although clear conclusion was not obtained, it's natural considering the subject. We share the recognition of the importance of STI coordinators, and actually they are indispensable for successful scientific research projects now. By the way, under quite diverse environment, we, ASEAN and Japan, have various common cultural components, many of which seem to be derived from rice-based societies. Yes, we can say that our traditional culture is have been established based on the calendar of rice cultivation and rice-oriented dietary or foods. So rice is an indispensable factor for our daily life. But our food culture is very diversified, and we enjoy various food in daily life, with rice in center. With rice in center, we use various ingredients in daily food, including many kinds of spices and herbs. Yes, spices are very important for our daily food and daily life. We cannot imagine food without spices. STI coordination is just like spices in our daily life. Just as our daily life could be miserable without spices, without good STI coordinations, our research project could be unsuccessful, probably leading to time-consuming innovation or total failure. With dedicated efforts of STI coordinators, scientific research projects, especially large-scale or international ones, are successfully done. Outcomes of such projects are socially implemented, and people can enjoy the outcomes of the scientific research project in their daily life. Yes, we can spice up our scientific project with STI coordinators. Our societies are beginning to recognize the importance of STI coordinators. Let's forward this movement and establish the social status of STI coordinators. Today's session could be a very good opportunity for this, I believe. Please enjoy the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nawata Sensei. That was a very interesting metaphor of the spice, rice, and STI coordinators. Now we will have a nice recorded video from Dr. Vani Narita from the Science and Technology Division of the ASEAN Secretariat. She has been very active in the network of young scientists, both in Japan and ASEAN, For the couple of years, she has given me a fine-tuned, brushed up and spiced up our planning of STI coordination. So now let's us listen to her greetings.
Good afternoon. Dear organizers from Japan ASEAN Science, Technology and Innovation Platform, Kyoto University, University Malaya, the Malaysia Association of Research Managers and Administrators, Ministry of Industry, Science, Technology and Innovation, Cambodia. Dear speakers from Thai Young Scientist Academy, SEE Forum members, alumni of ASEAN Science and Technology Fellows, ASEAN Young Scientists Network. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I wish to congratulate the organizers for convening this kickoff symposium for ASEAN-Japan Joint Project, the second round, Science, Technology and Innovation Coordinators in Japan and ASEAN towards Grand Challenges. It is my honor to speak here today. It is also my pleasure to be in the company of dear colleagues and friends from various sectors across ASEAN. It always brings me a warm feeling to work together with you, and I wish that we can see you face to face soon. As strategic partners, ASEAN and Japan have been in a long-standing dynamic and broad-based relationship. Japan has been consistently supporting ASEAN centrality and unity, and has been advancing concrete cooperation in line with the priority areas of, among others, maritime cooperation, connectivity, sustainable development goals, SDGs, and economy. Our strategic partnership is becoming profoundly important in paving the way towards recovery from COVID-19. Japan has assisted ASEAN member states to control the coronavirus outbreak and revive their economies. We appreciate Japan's support for ASEAN initiatives such as the ASEAN Comprehensive Recovery Framework, including its provision of medical supplies, including vaccines, the establishment of the ASEAN Center for Public Health Emergencies and Emerging Diseases, and financial support. I am confident that these initiatives will contribute to the stability and prosperity of ASEAN. As we will mark the 15th anniversary of ASEAN-Japan friendship and cooperation in 2023, ASEAN and Japan have both reaffirmed commitments to further strengthen our strategic partnership. At the 24th ASEAN-Japan Summit in October this year, looking ahead towards post-COVID-19, our leaders agreed to further enhance cooperation in a wide range of areas, which will contribute to achieving the SDGs, including climate change, clean energy, healthcare, such as universal health coverage and disaster prevention. Japan will also cooperate in digital transformation, quality infrastructure investment, and supply chain resilience, which will forge closer cooperation for a mutually beneficial future. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. In the area of science, technology, and innovation, STI, ASEAN-Japan relations continue to advance. As stated under Thrust 1 of ASEAN Plan of Action on Science, Technology, and Innovation, APASTI 2016-2025, ASEAN member states are to strengthen strategic collaboration among academia, research institutions, networks of centers of excellence, and the private sector to create an effective ecosystem for capability development, technology transfer, and commercialization. At the 11th Informal ASEAN Ministers on Science, Technology, and Innovation in June this year, the ministers also welcomed the efforts to improve the research ecosystem in the ASEAN by completing the study on research administration, research management system, and the need for professional STI coordinators in ASEAN. Concurrently, Japan has started to formulate new regional policies in ASEAN for the strategic promotion of the international deployment of science and technology under Japan's the 6th Science, Technology and Innovation Basic Plan 2021-2025. In this regard, human resource development of such specialized professionals to coordinate international collaborative framework is in line with one of the priorities of the future direction of STI policy. Through STI coordination, ASEAN and Japan will achieve mutually beneficial co-creative model across region. Through the past series of online seminar for human resource development of STI coordinator between ASEAN and Japan toward Grand Challenge from August 2020 to March 2021, the participants mutually recognize some essential roles and skills of STI coordinators. Their key roles and skills are bridging and coordination among different actors, different sectors, and managing pre-awards and post-awards towards the overall goal of a research project. STI coordinators need to balance 4 elements in the STI activities. 1. STI-driven Grand Challenge, top-down. 2. Grand Challenge-driven STI, bottom-up. 3. Economic growth-driven STI. And conscience-driven STI. We hope at the end of today's session, based on the shared ideas rooted in hands-on experiences and lessons learned from everyone here, the concept of these 4 base elements can be shaped into the new methodology and tool for the STI landscape study. It is also our wish that together we can achieve the aim of the JASTIP Phase 2, 2020-2025, which is to establish a co-creative mechanism for joint scientific research, which ASEAN and Japan plan and promote collaborative projects together, both bear the cost and link the results to solutions of social issues. Nurturing STI coordinators who will be responsible for identifying needs of society, seeds of joint research, coordinating across different sectors, and building and strengthening coordinators network as a common asset for ASEAN and Japan will be a very important part of achieving this aim. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, given the achievements attained since the completion of the past series of online seminar for human resource development of STI coordinator between ASEAN and Japan toward grand challenges, I am confident that our cooperation in STI can prosper and reach new heights. I hope today's session can lay the concrete background, concrete groundwork, and chart the course for cooperation in STI between ASEAN and Japan. On that note, I wish all of you a fruitful meeting and a successful outcome. Please stay safe and healthy, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.
That was a very nice message from Dr. Bani Narita. We appreciate the ASEAN Secretariat. She, based on the very deep understanding of ASEAN and Japan relationship, she listed up some priority integrity issues to tackle, then reaffirmed the significance of our ongoing joint initiatives to nurture STI coordinators. Thank you very much. Then next, we would like to take a group photo. So if possible, please turn on your video and show your faces, smiley faces, comb your hair, and get ready. I will take several shots. Okay. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, some more. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Do you know how to count in Japanese? Say it together. 1, 2, 3. Good. The last one, Non Song Sang. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, you can find a very nice umbrella here.
Okay. So this is the program for today. Can you see us? We start from a small introductory talk by our dear brother, Dr. Taro Sonobe, and then we have 3 round tables. The first one by a Cambodian Misty, the second one from C Forum, and then having a short break in between, followed by the last round table 3 by ASEAN Science and Technology Fellows, Young Scientists Network, and then lastly, we have an open discussion. Okay. So let us now go on to the introductory talk. Dr. Sonobe has been a research administrator at Kyoto University Research Administration Office since 2007. Currently, he is also a member of Provost Office at Kyoto University and the Deputy Director at the Kyoto University ASEAN and European Centers. He serves as a Global COE Assistant Professor at Graduate School of Energy Science at Kyoto University. He received his PhD in Energy Technology from the Joint Graduate School of Energy and Environment, King Mongkut University of Technology, Chonburi, Thailand. If you have any questions or comments in between, please notify us by filling the Q&A chat box or raising hand from the bottom bar of the Zoom window. Over the chat box here, you can download his presentation slide also. So, Sonobe-san, are you ready? Onegaishimasu.
Okay. So thank you very much, Saito-san. It was the first time for me to introduce by Saito-san very formally. This is a really, how do you say, happy or something very special feeling right now. So thank you very much for joining today's symposium. And then my name is, yes, Taro, just so you can remember, my name is Taro. It's a very easy name in Japan or even in Southeast Asia, like the potato. So, okay, so now I'd like to introduce about the, today's symposium concepts for science, technology, and innovation, STI coordinator between ASEAN and Japan. And then I think today's symposium main mission or main aim is, let's say, bridging and coordination among our existing friends and new friends and new networks through this kind of the common topics. So first of all, I'd like to a little bit introduce about our some existing activities, and then Dr. Banis and Nawato Sensei also mentioned about the joint project of STI coordinator online seminars, which named on the Science, Technology and Innovation STI coordinator in Japan and ASEAN towards Grand Challenge. It has been endorsed by the ASEAN COSTI last years. We organized this series of online meetings from last August until this March or this May. That objective was to generate the awareness of research administration and the needs for the professional STI coordinator in ASEAN. So today's many participants and many panelists kindly joined this project. And then we could generate quite great awareness of this kind of the STI coordinators. And then this is a brief outcomes of our projects. I think thank you very much the collaboration with the ASEAN colleagues and partner and friends. We could quite greatly generate the awareness of research administration and the needs for professional STI coordinator in ASEAN. There are more than 400 registers to join this online seminar series. And we could also know the key stakeholders and available resources, human resources development of STI coordinator in ASEAN. And we could get a very good or very impressive concepts, such as STI talent pool in ASEAN, which was proposed by the Cambodia's Dr. Fidelo Sensei. And then we could get a good connection, a network with the ASEAN ST Fellow and the Young Scientist Academies and the other very network in ASEAN. And we could also bridge with the other sector, not in the science and the technology, but also the social culture and society in ASEAN networks. And this is a kind of the brief output that we could increase also high needs, and we could recognize the high needs and motivation in ASEAN about fostering STI coordinators, and we could cultivate the knowledge in research management and STI coordinators. And also, Dr. Narita or Barney-san also mentioned about the STI, something landscape study mechanism or training program or STI talent pool. This kind of a thing are required or needs for further development through our collaboration. So we reported this kind of output to the last ASEAN COSTEAM meetings about the needs for the working group or secretariat to coordinate the human resource development of STI coordinator in ASEAN. And yesterday, I think that many of you participated yesterday day one session. There we discussed about the latest policy trend on the science and technology cooperation, and then they are represented from ASEAN and Japan. And then here's we discuss about the point of the discussion, 4 points. And then one is that first, what the strengths and the weakness of our research activity between ASEAN and Japan. And then second ones, also to overcome this kind of the challenge, JASTIP also proposed the joint human resource development of STI coordinator by ASEAN and Japan collaboration. And the third one is how can STI coordinator be trained efficiently? And what is the role and what kind of the program are necessary or should be developed? And the fourth one is how do you consider the career development of STI coordinators? At the first opening remarks, Professor Nabata also mentioned about the 4 topics. So this is what these are the discussion points yesterday. And then several discussants also summarized 3 main points. For example, we need diversity, or we also respond to the diversities. And we need to set the common goals, such as some global challenge, SDG were mentioned. And also through these kind of the 2 points, we need to create a new research collaboration, a new network, or something like that. And then through those kind of things, we require such kind of the STI coordinator or coordination factors. And in order to cultivate that kind of function, we need a huge investment, not just monetary, but also in terms of the times and trust and knowledge and wisdom. And then by listening such kind of discussion, I myself also recognize that importance of mentorships. And we are mentored by the very senior from all over the world. At the same time, mentor very kindly invest their time for fostering our knowledge, our skill. So we recognize that kind of the mutual complementary relationship or appreciation to the mentor or senior professor. And here's I'd like to show the, pictures, the overview of the second phase of the joint project between ASEAN and Japan. In order to follow up the first round of the joint projects on science, technology, and innovation coordination in Japan and ASEAN toward Grand Challenge, our proposal has been also endorsed by ASEAN COSTI in November 26th to continue our further discussion. So yesterday and today's symposium is a kind of the kickoff symposium for our second round of this joint project. And actually, at the end of this month, we are going to have some closed meeting to develop the training program as a test case. And today, please be relaxed. We don't need much very concrete results, outputs. But we would like to get more diverse ideas or diversity or idea, or not only the uniform idea, but also we would like to have or put at the same floor and to discuss and to follow up together with our colleagues. So we set this kind of series of the online meetings from next January monthly, until the June next year. So based on this kind of discussion, we would like to summarize the next step of the concept node for our ASEAN and Japan joint collaboration. So I would like to summarize some kind of an integrated picture so far after the first round. And this is one of the current discussion points to share our common picture so far. This is draft one. So again, many people already listened this same explanation, but please be patient to listen again. So our society now facing several this kind of the multi-faceted and interlinked and complicated social issue or grand challenge, such as climate change, infection disease, or energy security, environment, biodiversity, or disaster prevention, so forth. So we are really facing also uncertainty society. However, in order to solve this kind of challenge, such as a grand challenge, we need to have the better research projects or STI policy, robust STI policy, or industrial innovation or social contribution from well-balanced ecosystem of STI. What kind of the balance should be required? So there are 4 elements proposed so far. One is a top-down approach, and the second one is a bottom-up approach. The third one is economic-centered approach. The fourth one is a conscience-centered approach, which also introduced by the Barney-san. And then in order to balance this kind of well-balanced ecosystem, we need to provide better research management and administration or coordination. So in order to provide this one, we need to have the well-cultivated STI coordinator as the human resources. So this is one of the common picture, integrated picture so far. And then now we have the 2 key topics today. One is the human resource development, how we can achieve the better or good, appropriate the mechanism of the human resource development. The second challenge is STI landscape study. So I'd like to little bit share our key philosophy or concept that since the beginning of our joint projects, ASEAN and Japan STI coordinating projects. So we start with this tailor-making as our principle of co-creation. So I would like to share our concept that we started this kind of the tailor-making. So left-hand side, this rabbit is very, very confused in the kind of the suit shop. That suit owner just provide one size of suits, one size fits all concept. But we are not much this kind of concept. We would like to have this kind of tailor-making the process together with the ASEAN and Japan to respond to the diversity in the culture and in the some kind of the conditions. So since the beginning of this kind of our joint projects, we made a self-assessment for each ASEAN regions, as well as we conduct mutual learnings through the online webinar or online discussion or face-to-face discussion. And the second one is STI landscape studies. So I think the Barney-san expect us to anyway conceptualize how to measure, how to develop the STI landscape study. So I think in the history of the science, I hope all of you know about the Descartes or Cartesian coordinated system. You can learn from the, I think, the junior high school. I think this is the most brilliant development in the human nature, I hope. And then I just noticed that Cartesian coordinated system, they utilize the 2 axes of the coordination. And then this would be the very, I think they are very brilliant. And I think now this can be utilized to mapping the research activity or consider some kind of 4 elements. Then our vision or dreaming is that probably through our collaboration, our mutual learning, we can consider about the development of STI coordinate system, which can be probably developed by ASEAN and Japan as some kind of the anniversary. So this is a kind of the very image. And then also, this is not just the image in a conceptual. We also utilize this kind of the Cartesian coordinate system to understand what is the difference between the scientist and STI coordinator through our last online series of the discussion. So in short, this is a range of the academic discipline, and then y-axis is a kind of the academic depth. So scientists normally they will increase their capacity into deeper academic intelligence, and or based on her or his academic discipline. However, STI coordinators, they should have more wider capacity from the practical discipline and academic discipline, and then try to wider their perspective in both of practical and academic discipline based on their academic specialists. So this is one of the images. And the second one, what's the role of STI coordinator among scientists? You can see the two sharp peak. It represents the scientists. When we apply the wide range of the weight to the two separated waves, we can obtain this kind of the synergetic waves as a consequence of the interaction amongst the scientists and the two scientists and STI coordinator. This is a kind of the very conceptual image, but we can really can deepen our understanding what is the role of STI coordinators. So Bunny-san also mentioned that I think the latest our challenge about the STI landscape study, we now discuss about the how to diagnose the current status of STI activity at each place, as well as how to forecast the future of ideal condition of STI. Then now we are try to develop kind of the 4 elements of the balancing factors, such as STI-driven grand challenge. Second one, grand challenge-driven STI. The third one is economic growth-driven STI. And the fourth one is a conscience-driven STI. This is still a conceptual idea, but we would like to discuss together with your colleagues and our friends. So, however, this is not just our very, dreaming a conceptual idea, but also one of the Japanese agency, New Energy Development Organization, and they have the one organization, namely Technology Strategy Centers. They also are proposing the similar idea with the 6 value access towards a prosperous society through innovation. You can find this kind of the paper from the website, but they also proposing 6 elements such as life satisfaction, social inclusion, economies, governments, and environment infrastructures. This is a kind of the 6 axes to diagnose the future direction of the innovation. You can see this one is just open on June 30 in this year. And then now we are also very good position. We also publish this our joint effort in June, very early June in this year at our open access journal. And we reported this activity to the ASEAN COSTI. So I think there we can integrate, or we can discuss about this new ideas to develop about STI landscape study from ASEAN and Japan. And then how to develop this kind of the STI landscape study. But this is just ideas. And then now we would like to somehow utilize a Cartesian coordination system, but just as one of the example image, we can put 4 elements at here, and then when we just plot it, probably we can see this kind of the image, and this one looks like a very economic growth driven condition. But probably this is a little bit still difficult for the first time. So we need to make it more closer to our daily life. So Professor Nawata kindly mentioned about the Spice app, and then we need to develop our concept to closer our daily life, and consider what is the meaning of the balancing factor by using this kind of metaphor of the food. So by using this kind of metaphor, first we need to understand what is the concept of this kind of STI landscape study. And in just case of myself, I just put 4 basic ingredients in Japan. For example, sugar and salt and vinegar, or soy sauce and miso. Actually, I like the soy sauce and miso because anyway. So when we put this kind of the metaphor or element, sugar as a top down, and salt as a bottom up, and economic growth as vinegars, and conscience driven the soy sauce or miso. And then blue one looks like the current condition, and then it's more like the economic growth driven. And then you can see the red one. It's a future ideal condition. In my just view that probably Japanese STI condition need to be a little bit shift to the conscience driven STI. For example, so this is just a beginning of the discussion. And if we utilize this kind of the metaphor, so for example, if the sum of the condition or someone who takes sugar too much, in that case, we can say, hey, you take the sugar too much. In that case, maybe you should take care about your little bit physical shape or other things. If you take a lot of salt, you have to also take care about high blood pressures. This kind of anyway discussion we would like to facilitate through our online discussion. However, I think that your taste will be changed over time. So tongue will be cultivated and matures. So we also need the time axis of coordination. So I think there are past and current and future, there should be some differences in the balance. But in order to consider the futures, but it's very difficult to see the future. So we need to learn from the past experience. We need to share the lesson learned from the past experience, from the various network, the various efforts from the our current generation as well as the senior generation. So today's symposium, this is the last slide to pass the microphone to the Saito-san. So today we have the 3 roundtable discussion. One is from the Misty from the Cambodia. The second one is C Forum members. Third one is ASEAN, Thai-style ASEAN Young Scientist Academies. So I think the first roundtable, we are looking for to listen the human resource development STI talent pool concept, which are proposed by the Fidero Sensei, and some trial STI landscape studies. And then our C Forum it's a kind of the lesson learned over the past 10 years. We would like to share our past experience in terms of the human resource developments. And the third one, we would like to listen to a new idea or a new exciting idea from the young scientists about STI landscape study or your idea about the STI coordination. And the last, Dr. Maki-san will integrate all discussion at our open discussion. So here we are very welcome all of you to join the open discussion to have the many diverse elements, but we would like to somehow integrate some shape. But after this kind of open discussion, we will follow up this discussion after our online series of the discussion from January. So anyway, sorry for a little bit long time, but this is all from myself. Thank you very much. So, okay.
Thank you very much, Sonobe-san. That was a very interesting introduction. just one in the chat box, our friend Dr. Simon Carriage shared his INOMS RAP survey. So if any of you are willing to cooperate with the survey, please email him. Okay. Sorry, due to the time limitation, we will rush to the next program. And we'll be, we'll be welcoming, can you unshare the screen? Okay. We'll be welcoming the panelists from MISTI, Cambodia. We prepared some sample questions for your consideration. But this is for your food for thought. They are not exhaustive, so other points are very welcome. Please custom-make the optimal answer for your own project or institution. What have you gained when you study abroad or you worked with different sectors? How does that help you to apply for or implement international collaboration? What do you think the most important to bridge ministry, university, private sectors, or local community? So we will first welcome a panelist from MISTI. Serving as a chair is Dr. Horsley Un. He's a Director of Department of Science, Technology and Innovation Promotion and Development, National Institute of Science and Technology Innovation, MISTI. Prior to the current position, he taught chemical engineering and food technology at the Institute of Technology of Cambodia and studied in Japan, Italy, France. He was a member of the JICA Satra project and awarded as an ASEAN Science Diplomat in 2020. His team, Horsley San, Dr. Hussein, Dr. Fidero, and Ms. Hean Get Onsan, has been a strong supporter and co-organizer of this symposium. Dr. Horsley, are you ready to start the discussion?
Yeah, we are ready. Thank you.
Okay, the floor is yours.
Okay, so I would like also ask Hong San to start the question. So Hong San, please start. Please share with me. Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Professor San. And good afternoon, Professor, His Excellency, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we have a great honor to have two distinguished speakers for the panelist discussion. His Excellency Ho Seung Haeng and His Excellency Federal. So before we start, I would like to invite His Excellency Ho Seung Haeng and His Excellency Federal to make a short introduction of yourself. Thank you.
Should I start first or Dr. Fidero start first? Huh?
Yeah, His Excellency Ho Seung Haeng, you can start first. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gek Huang, and very good afternoon to our ASEAN colleague and from Japanese colleague from Kyoto University and the supporting team. I am Ho Seung Haeng, currently Director General of Science, Technology and Innovation of Ministry of Industry, Science, Technology and Innovation. I think it is short like that, so hope it's fine. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Fidero. Yeah, good afternoon again, professors, colleagues at the Kyoto University and friends. I think all friends, our friends here, so happy to be here with all the friends. Now I work at the National Institute of Science, Technology and Innovation at the new ministry. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Can you share us a little bit what have you gained when you studied abroad, Dr. Ho Seung Haeng?
Thank you again for the question. I think I myself have learned a lot from educational perspective and also from attitudinal perspective. More or less, it is somehow related to education as well and culture perspective as well. I learned from what is a bit of closed society in 20 years back. And I think 2004 I'm out, and almost 20 years out, and then it was a short time. It was a short time for me to see a different of Cambodian and others, and I got learn a lot from what I was abroad. I think shortly like that, education, culture, attitude, I think I value the most in the current context. Thank you.
And Dr. Fidero, can you tell us what is your most favorite local food in Cambodia?
Yes, Huang. Thank you. I think just to add, to complement to what Dr. Singh has just mentioned, I think is the best is I earn a lot of friends, and I can see a lot of friends now here, and this meeting look so healthy. So that's the thing that I got from all of that. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. So, would you mind telling us what is your most favorite local food and why do you like it? Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, better now. Better.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Dr. Fidero, can you tell us what is your most favorite local food and why you like it?
I think the thing I like is the food is the krung. I think it's a mix of fish, and it tastes sour, spicy. You know, it's like a paste, and then I think Lao and Thai, you probably our friend here feel familiar with that, and I like it because we can enjoy with different vegetables. You know, that is the best. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And how about Dr. Ho Sung Haeng? Can you tell us what is your most favorite local food?
I think it's not surprise from ASEAN country. We have a monsoon season, variety of ingredients. So any food mix up of many spices, I love it. Specifically, I love Machu Krung. I think it's quite weird and new to our foreigner, but Machu Krung is a mix of many ingredients there, and it's a little bit sour and salty, and yeah, that's my favorite food. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Those are the most favorite food for every Cambodian people, and we hope that our audience will have a chance to test it. And now I would like to pass the stage to Mr. Bossy to continue this roundtable discussion. Thank you.
Thank Hong San. So since today we will discuss about STI talent pool in our round table discussion. So I have some questions to ask His Excellency Ho Sung Haeng and His Excellency Kuk Fidero. So the first question is, could you tell us about STI talent, how STI talent pool was initiated, and why it is important? And so I would like to invite His Excellency Ho Sung Haeng. Could you give us a general view of it? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Bossy. And I think STI talent pool is part of what we did a discussion on our STI roadmap, Cambodia STI roadmap 2030, and STI policy 2020-2030, and these are the foundation of document talking about how we grab talent and how we send out talent for a specific field, which allow us to have a pool of talent. So I think this is what, from policy level perspective, we are doing it Misty as well as I think Cambodia. So shortly like that, over to you, Dr. Pasri. Thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency. So I would like also to invite His Excellency Fidero. Could you share us some example or experience of it? Thank you. Please mute. I think you are. Please unmute.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Pasri. I think it's quite similar to our ASEAN colleague, I mean institutions. When we talk about the STI talent pool, I think it starts when we at the university when we have our undergraduate, and we try to match between the interest and the advisor interest. This is the most important. It will define the future of the students, and then from that we also work together with our network and especially our ASEAN colleague, trying to pursue to support the dream of the students. Try to send our students, to continue study abroad to other university, Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam, or Japan, for example. So this is how it start our STI talent pool. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, His Excellency. So I would like to pass to question number 2. The question number 2 is that, could you share us about the concept and also the purpose of the STI talent pool? So could you share with us, His Excellency Ho Sing Heng?
Thank you, Dr. Pasri. I think the question is really touching the vision of development of ASEAN and also AMS, as well as vision of Japanese government supporting ASEAN as well, on how we create a pool. And we mean pool like a place where water, and here is a talent, a pool where we have talent, mix of talent, and a group of specified field of talent. So the concept and purpose of having this pool is whenever we need water, we go into that pool, we get the water. It's simply talking when we have, right, for instance, we have issue of COVID-19, for instance, so where we get the pool, where to get the talent, so create this ecosystem, I think, concentrate this talent in one pool I think it's the only concept allowing a long run of the region. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency. So I forward to His Excellency Cook Fidero. Could you share us about the purpose of the STI talent pool?
Yes, I think to look at the fundamental objective is to serve the family. It starts with ourselves and to start with the family. And then if you look at it at the bigger picture, so the talent pool will be the very good resource for the country development, and also now for the ASEAN regions, and also for the humanities. And as mentioned by Dr. Sing Heng earlier about the COVID-19, when the pandemic comes, I think a very good example from Cambodia, we gather all the multidisciplinary graduates and try to work together, trying to solve the issue, how can we help. And from that point of view, I think the talent pool will serve not just the country and the region, but also for the humanity as a whole. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, His Excellency, and very good answer. I mean, very good point of it. So I would like to go to the question number 3. I would like to know how to mobilize. Could you share us some key point of it? Yeah, just the point is also okay. Thank you. I would like to invite His Excellency, and His Excellency Kufido also can start first.
Yes. To mobilize, from point A to point B or from point B to point A. So there's always the bi-directional engagement between all the stakeholders, or multi-directional. As we see now, the talent can go everywhere, can learn a new skill, you know, and trying to pursue their dream. So to mobilize, actually, as my experience, as we work as the teacher at previously at the Institute of Technology of Cambodia, we try to connect the dot for the student whether they want to pursue their dream in what field and to which university, and do we have our friends there, do we have our sensei there, can we contact whether the topic is very interesting or not. This is how we mobilize, and that the start at the early stage, like we do the seeding, and once the seeds start the germinations when they graduate, and they come back, and we try to trying to mentor them. How can we work together, whether they want to go to the private sector or they want to go to the public sector. And most of the time, you know, we keep the linkage, the coordination, the collaboration between the advisor, the sensei, and also the student and our colleague to work together. And why it is important to work together, because the mobilization is not just about the human resource, but also to share the all the common interests. And this is the most important. We start with the common interest, and that's how we mobilize all the talent pool with the idea of the common interest. Yeah. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you, His Excellency Fidero. His Excellency Ho Sing Heng, could you share us how to mobilize the talent from your view? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Paul Sri. I completely agree with what Dr. Fidero did mention. I think how the question how to mobilize the talent, I think that is what we have been doing already. We have AU and CNET, like all of us graduated from. We have fellowship. We have policy to attract talent, to mobilize talent in the region. I think these all are done. But I would like to give a broad overview on humanity perspective. Aside from economic perspective, I think how to mobilize talent is challenging, especially in the current context, while we have a lot of competition. I would like to emphasize that how to mobilize the talent, it must be based on a mutual benefit, or we can say win-win strategy. Of course, a rich country can play in such a way that attracting talents, giving fellowship, giving this and that to a particular country. But at the end of the day, we must give a priority to the development of humanity. We must stand in the position that win-win for all. I think the concept of attracting talent for one win alone, I think it is obvious that everybody see it. So something that I think a new way of keeping talent. And now the digital era, it would be another way of mobilizing talent. Sometimes outsourcing software. You don't need to mobilize resource from Cambodia to a particular country or from Japan to another country. I think you can stay in your home and do the job in another side of the world. I think this is just a one specific example, just to give priority to humanity, mutual benefit, win-win, and also allowing. I think we have to reconsider how to mobilize human resource right now. And of course, close the window working alone, I think it won't work anymore. We have to work with others. Thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency, for sharing. So I would like to switch to question number 4. The question number 4 is how STI talent pool sell to the country development goal. Actually, His Excellency already point out some important point, but if you have any other additional point, please, please. Thank you. I would like to invite His Excellency Ho Sing Hei start first.
Thank you. How STI talent pool to serve the country goal? I would like to reiterate again the message that as long as you have a pool, you remember, you have a water. A concept of pool is water. When you have a water, you can take the water anytime. So creating, you dig soil to get enough to retain some amount of water. It's just like in a country, when you have a knowledge-based society, somehow it's a contradict in terms of philosophy on knowledge-based society. But you know, having a talent pool in a particular country or region remain essential always. Once you need it, you have it. Like for instance, the situation of pandemic or future pandemic or economic developments or security development, all of this remain a need of talent. You cannot develop a nation or region without a good talent, I think. And we need to put the talent in one pool in whatever way. Thank you, Dr. Pausri.
Thank you, His Excellency. When we have the pool, we have the water, we can access anytime. Thank you. How about His Excellency Kufido? Can you share some view from your side? Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Pausri. I think the history repeated itself. If we look back to the development of the human civilizations, it started with the development of Homo sapiens sapien, and then we start with agriculture. You know, a lot of this we can look at the paper or scientific finding during those time and continue. And I think the STI talent pool will contribute to the development of the human civilizations. And as also mentioned by Dr. Sing Hei, as long as there's a pool of talents, I think we will be ready to face any challenge, either climate change, either the next pandemics, either any economic recessions. But we are sure that we will overcome this challenge together. Thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency. So because of time limit, I still have one other question. So the question number 5 is, can you share us, your experience in human resource or talent management based on your real experience during your working? I would like to invite His Excellency Kufido. Can you start first?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Pausri. I think one of the pragmatic experience with this talent management is, I think, as always, not to manage the talent. You know, it's very difficult to manage. You just have to create an ecosystem for them to grow. And as we can experience from our team now, you know, we come to the new ministry. I think with Dr. Sing Hei, with our colleague, the total around 40 PhD and 60 master degrees, so almost 100 people coming at one time. I think that will be a good, this is a good example of how we bring in the talent into a pool together. And probably, I think if I miss some point, maybe later Dr. Sing Hei can complement to what I'm going to say. But I think it starts when I graduated from the doctoral degree from Japan, Tokyo Tech, and then I come back to the country, to Cambodia, and I start as the young researchers, the research assistant, go to the field, you book the car, you book the boat, and go to take the water sample, and all of those stuff, we do everything. And I see this as the professional development. that's the way we do. And in this process, it's combined between the coaching and mentoring. I think you probably already know it well. Coaching, it's only short time for the technical issue, but mentoring, it takes a lifetime. If you find a good mentor, it's like you have a colleague, a good mentor for the rest of your life. This is the most important for the professional development. And I remember in 2015, and then together with Dr. Singh trying to convince me to join the department and to work there at our Institute of Technology of Cambodia. And I view it as the deployments after a certain professional development. It tried to convince to share some passion and give me some sense of purpose, and try to put me in some place we work together. And this is, I see, the second stage of the deployment. And the around 2018, and then we start the next stage is the networking. At that time, I think the best information you give to me was
Maksudnya sini ya, Ben?
Oh, sorry. The best thing he shared with me is the information of the Science and Technology Fellowship at the ASEAN. I think that's the time I has been exposed to this regional network. It's so amazing. I consider this as the third stage as networking, and we connected to from the expert to expert. We connect from the person to the resource and to other society. And this is how I become today. So to look at that and view to our younger colleagues, I think Dr. Paul Sri, and he's also have to lead. Huang is here also. I think everyone have to look after each other and to see how can we support our young colleagues to grow. So I think these three steps look at the professional developments, deployment, the second step, and the last one is networking, trying to connect them to the network. This is the most important, and I hope we could be the mentors for the young colleague, based on which the relationship could be last for the rest of the life. Thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency. I do agree with the coaching and mentoring is important, very essential for the talent. Thank you. So I would like to invite His Excellency Ho Sin Hei. Could you share us your view of it? Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Paul Sri. I think Dr. Fidero have raised some good point already on how you manage talent and human resource. I think it is. I cannot agree more on what Dr. Fidero have mentioned. It's hard to manage talent. How can manage humans? And it's not that easy, but we have to do for the sake of development of the country, of the region, and humankind. For that reason, you look for the talent. I think if I am not wrong, I encourage all of us to read a book, Pursuing the Genius, published in 2006, and how Flexner and his team tried to get Einstein, tried to get from Bamberger, create the Institute of Advanced Study. I think it gives a very comprehensive ecosystem on how you pursue the genius. And from that one, you need the management. You need to me, I would like to resume a short message that supporting system, how you support enough. It doesn't only incentives, it can be other means of supporting, coaching, mentoring, and of course incentives there, building ecosystem. So all of these are important in talent management. I think I would like to just add shortly to what Dr. Fidero had mentioned here. Thank you, Dr. Paul Sri.
Thank you, His Excellency. So I do not have other questions, so I would like to thank His Excellency Ho Sin Hei and His Excellency Fidero for your time to share us to share with us about STI talent pool during our roundtable discussion today. So I wish you all the best and stay safe from the pandemic. So I would like to close our discussion today. So I would like to forward this session to Professor Taro Sensei and also Saito-san. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was a wonderful talk. Thank you for introducing the concept of STI talent pool. For the first time participant, this is a nice chart introduced by the MISTI team. You will find it more details in our report. And we learned a lot about the purpose of the STI talent pool, how to mobilize talent, how to manage the talents. You may have some questions, but due to the time limitation, we will proceed to the next roundtable. Next, we will welcome members from the C Forum. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, then let us welcome the next panelist.
Okay. So I would like to come to you again. So I would like to invite our colleagues from Yuki-san, already there?
Hi, yes, Taro-san. Good afternoon, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so Amran-san.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so I think Reese there.
I'm here, Taro-san.
Okay, Mabuhay. And Rian-san.
Hi,
And Ajit-san.
yeah. Hello.
And
yes.
Hadi also there? Not yet. So anyway, thank you very much for joining, reforming our network again. So today is, as for the one of the examples of the lesson learned from the Sustainable Energy and Environmental Forum, we call the C Forum, over the past 10 years. We would like to share this kind of experience and then followed by the discussion, first round of the discussions. I think we can share this kind of the past experience, and then we can develop the future directions based on this kind of the our experience together with our best friends from all over the ASEAN. So, okay, first of all, I would like to introduce about what is a C Forum, and then later on, I would like to introduce all of our friends from Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines, and Vietnam. So what is the C Forum? C Forum stands for the Sustainable Energy and Environment Forum, established in 2006. I think today there are a lot of the participants from actually our seniors. So please allow me to introduce this C Forum again. And then our C Forum is a kind of the academic networks that will contribute to solving the global climate change and energy security issues toward new energy initiatives. And then we have the three kind of the pillar for the activities. One is a research activity based on the bottom-up and individual research collaboration, which C Forum promotes. And then second pillar was education, which more like a top-down approach in institutional ways. We promoted some networking, institutional collaboration between the ASEAN organization, or some projects generated by some Professor Ogaki listening here. And then networking. This is one of the important things. We, as a C Forum young scientists, used to be here. We serve as a secretariat, and the C Forum Young Scientists Research Network. We were called as a C Forum Young Researcher probably more than 10 years ago. So there is some of the kind of the examples for the C Forum secretariat activities, and then we have some relationship with the ASEAN COSTI more than 10 years ago. we organized some ASEAN Cost 3 New Energy Forum for Sustainable Environments under the C Forum Kyoto University and the JSPS and Ministry of Education. And then here's, you can see the Dr. Nuki Agia Utama more than 10 years ago. And here, myself, we also serve as the secretariat, and I discovered that I was still sleeping during the taking a photo. So it's every time difficult for all of you to take a photo with open my eye. So through this kind of the C Forum Young Researcher team, actually we also received one feasibility study projects from the JST, which is a kind of a feasibility study to discuss about the potential of renewable energy in Asia. This is a kind of the stakeholder mapping research, which was also discussed our online discussion by, for example, Professor Miemyo Cho-san or Pubador Sensei last year. And then through this projects, we had a very memorial training program or first workshop together. 10 years ago, we organized this kind of the retreat style camp, 3 days, very intensive workshop together among our young scientists. And then we went to the field trip to the rural energy system in Bogo, Indonesia. And then we shared a lot of the things, not only the scientific challenge and academic challenge, but also there are a lot of the, how do you say, sharing our interest, food preference, or I received a very good potato tips from the Rien-san 10 years ago, and we had some trouble or problem that the car required manpower to move from the rice field. So, and also we had some very common experience with the special mushrooms. So this is a very our new mushroom, getting close each other very well with our getting to know about our food preference and the diversity of the food preference. So this was a very miracle story. So we could share this kind of the stories at the beginning. And then we could shape this kind of the function of the C Forum. And then as a young scientist, we collaborate or we connect with our each seniors from each universities. And then C Forum young scientists could form kind of the core facilitation, the coordination function for the C Forum activities. And then we received the mentoring from the seniors from the not only the one direction, but also multilateral direction. And we could learn a lot of things from this experience, and we could share our common challenge among young scientists at that time. Then we could generate several activities from the C Forum, such as a joint research project or something like that. So this is one of the image of what we could share among our young scientists. And then here is also one of the example of the generated project through C Forum young scientists from the Dr. Rees and Riens. And here you can see the Professor Ogaki and the Professor Ishihara at the Kyoto University. And here, Rees, you can listen that one of your junior also participating in this online discussion. So I think he is a Mashu, probably. So this is one of the example of the joint research through the C Forum activity. And then we recognize through this preparation of our roundtable discussion, over the past 10 years, our position has been gradually shifted. 10 years ago, C Forum young researchers looks like this one. So we are one of the being quite mentors and by the senior PI. And then after the 10 years, we are somehow gradually a little bit play different roles at each position. Probably we started become the one of the mentoring to another generation. For example, you can see the Nuki-san here. He is much more the senior than 10 years ago. So now on, I'd like to ask each of you to share your thoughts and experience, and then we would like to start the order from the this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the photo taken 10 years ago. Please don't blame me. This was automatically generated. I don't know. 10 years ago, I didn't intend to use this photo to select the order of the presentation today, but probably Rien-san, Lee-san can start your talk here. So Rien-san, Lee-san, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Taro-san. Good afternoon, everyone. So that photo was taken in 2011. I actually joined C Forum in 2010. I just finished my PhD, so I was very young then. I think I'm the youngest in the group. That's why I got to go first. I just returned from in Ateneo at that time, and it was very fortunate for me to join C Forum. I was actually nominated by the PI, was Dr. Tangonan at that time. He was the principal investigator for Ateneo de Manila University, and I was recruited as the young researcher for the Philippines. And for me, joining that workshop that Taro-san mentioned earlier, it provided me with an opportunity to grow my network, not only locally, but also with my colleagues in the ASEAN region. And that workshop also gave me an opportunity to get to know them, the food preferences, and also their expertise as well. So even though we are in different fields, like I was in physics then, and some of us are in engineering, environmental science, we're able to find common aspects. And through writing that proposal on the feasibility study, it opened up that the topic for me specifically. I was able to step out of the box from doing projects that are technical heavy or very specific to my field, which is solar energy, to a broader field, which is on renewable energy potential in Southeast Asia. So that the second part there is it allows me to look at the bigger picture and to engage in multidisciplinary research. So currently I'm already the chair of the department. I from physics I moved to engineering, so 10 years later, and I also was able to establish my own research lab. And our research topics range from solar cell research to energy management, and I'm also working on projects looking at community-based renewable energy resources. And I've worked with Dr. Yin from Vietnam, and I also have some projects with Professor Ogaki and Professor Ishihara, who's also part of the C Forum network. So that's for me. I think, Taro-san, that's it for me. Thank you very much.
Salamat po, listeners. If you have a message to the Matthew, so maybe you can give you the message.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So next, I'd like to ask Dr. Rien-san from Vietnam to introduce yourself and give your hands-on experience through the C Forum, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Taro-san. So good afternoon, everyone. So first of all, I would like to say thank you very much, Dr. Taro Sonobe, and also the organizer, to give me myself and also my colleagues who come from the C Forum Young Researcher to be reunion today. Actually virtually, but I'm very happy to see you guys. And for the next 2 minutes, right? I think that each person have a maximum 2 minutes. I would like to tell you some of my personal story that I've been engaged with the C Forum for almost 10 years. So on the left-hand side would be 10 years ago, and I'm currently working at the Vietnam National University in Hanoi, and I come from environmental science. And Dr. Aries also mentioned that for the first time we met each other. I think that I still remember that at at that time we met each other at the UNESCO house, right, in Jakarta. It was very hot over there in Jakarta and so crowded. But the most thing I still remember is how spicy the food is. So it's so spicy, right? Sometimes we just have a rice with a chili paste, right? So only rice and chili paste. So it was a big challenge for me at the time, and also for my colleagues who come from other country. And I think that like Aries mentioned, I think that one of the key good practice that's still keeping in my mind was that workshop. We was first come together, coming from different country, different backgrounds, and we was nominated by our principal investigator at that time. So we sat back together and we discussed among our group in order to deal with our first joining project, like Dr. Taro has mentioned before. It was the first time we know each other, we met each other, and we worked together, and it's still in my mind currently. And throughout 10 years working with college and also the senior professor from C Forum, like Professor Ogaki, Professor Ishihara, and some others. So I think that the key lesson I learned is that be ready and take the opportunity. And on the slide, I would like to say with you that I've been changing my role, engaging with the C Forum. Like in 2011, I was a C Forum young researcher, and I joined with my colleagues here in our joint project. And during 2012 until 2015, I become the research member. And I have an opportunity to work with the senior professor with several ODI UNESCO projects, ranging from Vietnam, Laos, PDR, Cambodia, and Myanmar. It was very great honor for me, and I learned a lot. And in 2014, Dr. Aries and we got a great opportunity to co-work together. And I have to say thanks to Professor Ogaki and Professor Ishihara that they shared the information for us, and they, how can I say, encourage us. At that time, like Lian and Reese try to write a proposal, try to find opportunity to join together in the reviewing the difference between Philippines and Vietnam in terms of the renewable energy practice. And through that project, Reese and I have a very close work together, and I think that the project well went. And 2019, I got opportunity to be individual PI, that project funded by the JASTIP. So I think that be ready and take opportunity is the big lesson I learned that throughout 10 years working with the C Forum. So thanks again, and very nice to see you guys again virtually. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kamon Ryan-san. Okay, so I think I would like to ask the P. Atit to introduce your story here. P. Atit, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Haru-san, and good afternoon, everyone. Really nice to see you again. Actually, I joined the C Forum in 2011. At that time, my mentor is Professor Bandit Phung Thamasan. He is really kind to me to give me opportunity to join this forum. And also it's really a good opportunity to see another ASEAN researcher at that time. As Iris and Lian said that we went to the first meet in the Jakarta, and very excited to me that I see the traffic jam in Jakarta at that time. And after that, also we have a chance to work together to develop the proposal. And I remember that we went to the Kyoto as well for a couple of weeks at that time. I believe it's really good experience for us. And also we went to the Vietnam as well to join a conference at that time. And what I would like to say that this kind of the network, research network is really it's really good for young researcher because from this experience, I could work with another researcher like in the international research center as well. So if Japan could support ASEAN and ASEAN together, we can support each other and exchange the knowledge. I think this would be the good initiative to continue our research in ASEAN again. Thank you.
So next, I'd like to ask Hadi, if you are here, Hadi? Maybe not here. Okay, so I think maybe I'd like to pass to the Amran-san.
Thank you, Saru-san. Okay, good afternoon to all. Okay, I'm very happy to see all of you again, right, come together. It started actually from 2010, actually, when I graduated from University of Malaya, where my professor, Prof. Nasruddin, asked me to represent Malaysia as in the forum as a young researcher. So I started my career after PhD as a senior lecturer at University of Malaysia. Then after 10 years, I believe C Forum is one of the elements that helped me actually to progress well in my career. Okay, one of the important elements is actually on the international collaboration. Until now, I think last year I managed to secure the position of a professor and also with a little bit administration post as a deputy dean for research and innovation. I think my colleagues already or my teams already shared a lot of experience that we obtained through the journey when we was in Jakarta, and then after that even we have a short period of training. I think 1 month in Japan in Kyoto University. So you can see the pictures before that I took actually at the Kyoto University for 1 month period of attachment. Then after that, we have a series of meetings, and of course we come up with a lot of things, discussions. Then I could see that from my perspective, actually being the one that graduated from the same country, because starting from my bachelor's degree until my even PhD from Malaysia. So actually having this kind of a program helped me actually to be mentored actually by having two international mentoring. So Prof. Gaki and also even Prof. Ishara mentored as well actually, indirectly or directly actually in terms of research, in terms of life as an academician, even as a researcher. So I have an opportunity beside involving in the projects together with young forum members on the PCB Society on RE Potential in Asia. I managed even to secure a project together with the team from my professor from Nasruddin on the optimal design on the green energy system based on multi-renewable resources for rural conservation. So I can see this is one of the practice that where we have opportunity to be mentored by international and local professors. What is so important is actually by working together with the different countries, different cultures, actually by having such groups like us actually started from the young age, that could be good actually, where you can see actually R&D, even STI later on, as it varies actually in each country actually. So therefore, in order for us to offer the further collaboration, we need to understand each other actually, so that we can facilitate the collaboration. Because even I could see that older regions in ASEAN, for example, if we see from the details, what the approach or the practice will be a little bit different. So try to coordinate well actually will help actually for us to produce a good proposal. For example, in fact, we tried to build one big proposal last time, although not so successful, but then that actually bring a lot of a learning process for all of us, especially for me as a young researcher in Japan. I think that's for me actually. So I wish that whatever that we have done to the forum, we continue further. And I also believe it is also one good example that other young researchers can further explore actually, so that we can increase further collaboration between Japan and ASEAN. Okay, that's all for me.
Okay, thank you very much, Amran-san. So I think there may be time short, but I would like to invite Nuki-san for the last example.
Yes, thank you very much, Taro-san. I think I'm the last because I'm also known Taro-san since around 2005. If you're looking at this picture, as Taro also mentioned, is very young, and now is quite the transformation is quite severe. Especially on the hair part. Anyway, I used to be as a postdoctoral in the Global Center for Excellence in Kyoto University, the same university with Taro-san at the time. The picture is in fact, the picture is happening before those assignments. I was having a meeting in the ASEAN Pastry Costi. And over there, the interaction is very interesting. And I think at that time, we had already the embryo of the discussion of the C Forum, and the network's already growing quite big. And part of those is these activities, the ASEAN Pastry Costi. And right now, if you're looking at currently, I am also part of the ASEAN, but not in the Costi. Unfortunately, I am in the energy sectors. Since my experience in the C Forum and also my working experience before was related with the energy issues, energy scenario and plannings. That's why it is very relevant on the current work that I had as the Executive Director in the ASEAN Center for Energy. And also working in some other activities such as the working group in the UN SCAP, advisory member of the APERC, and also advisory member in the World Economic Forum. Next slide. I think this is related with what I've been doing and the good practices. In fact, we have a lot of experience working and coordinating with various countries representatives. And indeed, it is very relevant with what I'm doing right now, which is working with the various countries representative, starting from the policymakers, industrial business sectors, as well as most importantly, the academe and also research institute. And the sector that we are doing during my assignment in C Forum is the energy environmental perspective, and right now it's energy issues. But as you may know, the energy issues cannot stand alone. It should be related with other sectoral bodies. One of the important sector is the environmental related issues. So that is very good practices happening when I've been assigning as the C Forum a young researcher back then with Taro-san, with other colleagues as well. So a lot of lessons learned that I've gaining on these activities. For example, I do have a bigger perspective on cross-border knowledge interaction. Yeah, especially as mentioned, energy and environmental issues. Energy and environmental nexus, it is how the energy and environment can be collide together in the perspective when not dismissing one to another, but combining those issues to achieve sustainable development goals. Another one is not only the bigger perspective on the cross-border knowledge, but also countries' interaction, understanding the culture, and beyond regional also, beyond Southeast Asia. So there's a lot of things that I learned from the C Forum activities because the culture differences is enrich us, not looking at more or not giving a degrading perspective, but instead of degrading perspective, it is enriching us on understanding other cultures and also others, what you call it, behaviors. And another thing is the activities during C Forum is link us with the senior professors, expand researcher, experienced researchers, experienced expert, and we are as a junior, we learn a lot from them. And then also giving us a precious experiences to grow not only as a researcher, but also as an embryo to be a leader. So it is depending on you. You want to growing as a having a good practices, having a lot of experience to be the next leader, or you want to grow as it is? I think most of you will answer you want to grow as a leader. So I think it's very good practices, good experience, a lot of friends I have, very good friend and very good program ahead, I think. So thank you very much once again for this opportunity. And one more important thing is that currently the ASEAN Center for Energy already also implementing those activities by having MOU with the JASTIP, Professor over there, and also by the support and guidance from Professor Susumu Yuskawa back then. I'm becoming what I am now as well. Thank you very much, Taro-san.
Okay, so terima kasih, and thank you very much for all of our friends to share your good practice and experience and through the C forum activity. And I think we are a little bit, the time is a little bit sorry. We are not able to summarize our 10 years experience into the 20 minutes. We really apologize for this delay. But the final message, I think the Cambodia team also introduced about the STI talent pool or pool. But I think we may think each of their team or each of the region or university or anywhere. I think this kind of the good ecosystem which have the good relationship between person to person, multilateral layer, person to person relations. I think this kind of the thing is a kind of the one of the principle to be the one of the image of the good healthy ecosystem for STI talent pool. So I think this is one of our message as one of the examples to our past experience. So thank you very much for joining our round table. Thank you very much. And thank you very much all of you to listen our round table. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sonobe-san.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now we have a short 5-minute break until 5:50 Japan Standard Time. And hope you have a short break, and then please come back again for the next round table. We will start in 5 minutes. Are you coming back? Sashi-san, you seem ready now.
Yes, thank you, Saito-san.
We will gradually start the next roundtable. Okay. Now we will welcome members from ASEAN ST Fellowship Young Scientists Network, co-chairs Sashi-san and Sai-san from Thailand. Introducing the two brilliant researchers, Dr. Sasiton Sriwalti is a senior researcher at the National Metal and Material Technology Center at the National Science and Technology Development Agency, NASDA. She earned a degree in industrial engineering from Chulalongkorn University and then won a scholarship from the Thai government and received her Master of Science and PhD from North Carolina State University, USA. She was appointed as a co-chair of the Thai Young Scientists Academy from 2019 to 2021. Dr. Borajit Setapun Sai-san is a Dean of Asian Development College for Community Economy and Technology, Chiang Mai Ratchapat University, Thailand. She was a recipient of the Fulbright Scholarship and received her MS and PhD in Chemical Engineering from the University of Michigan with doctoral appointment at Algon National Laboratory. She manages the graduate program in Community, Energy and Environment. She established the Chiang Mai World Green City with 100% renewable energy-based smart community. She was the ASEAN US Science and Technology Fellow and was the 2016 ASEAN US Woman in Science for Sustainable Energy. Now, Sashi-san and Sai-san, tongue twister. This is Saito. I'm ready to share your screen and start the discussion. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your kind introduction. Sasi and Sai here, and we're so excited to be the moderator. So when you call us, just add one S or two S, okay? So today we are on behalf of TAISA, because since we are in the Young Scientist Network as well. So we hope that for today, Sasi and Sai, I can't Sasi and I now, I have to Sasi and Sai. So Sasi and Sai will make the roundtable number 3 as more comfortable and trying to have everyone join the discussion as much as possible. Not only the discussion from the panelists, but the discussion from the participant as well. So I hope that you would join us to provide your comments and suggestions in the STI landscape study. All right. Okay. So Sasi, what are we going to do today after this?
Well, I think we will have a couple of questions to pose for all of the panelists that joining us today. And it will be great if we could hear at least one representative from each country. So in the beginning, I think before we would share our idea and experience, I think that's something that Sai wanted for us to at least comply to the rules, right?
All right. So since we do have about 50 minutes, so I hope that everyone would share their ideas and story. So I just want to, for us to just try to switch off a little bit something, which is the judgment. So all your ideas, experience stories, it would be beneficial to all of us. So when we think about it, just switch your judgment off, and then we hope that you would share us your great stories as well. Okay, so let's have a conversation.
Yes, that sounds good to me. Thank you, Sai. So as a first question, we would like to hear what are your STI experience that you had before, or something that you're looking forward to as one of the young scientists and as one of the members in the Young Scientist Network, because I believe most of you would be member in at least one of the networks, right? It could be either ASEAN AST Fellows or ASEAN Young Scientist Networks, or even the National Academy in your country. So maybe if you'd like to share first, you could raise your hands and unmute yourself to share your experience. Otherwise, your names will be called.
by Sai.
I just want to say we have about 10 or so panelists here, and I'm opening your faces right now. So if you open the video, I will call you. I'm just kidding. Even though you're not opening the video, I will still call you. So the first one is we want you to share your experience on for S&T Science Project. Okay, Ruth. All right. So Ruth, can you please share your experience, please?
Hi everyone, good afternoon. So I am Ruth from the Philippines. No? Actually, I was a part of the ASEAN Science and Technology Fellow. I was one of the guinea pigs. We were the first batch of that fellowship. So at first, we really do not know what to do in that project. No? But along the way, the program actually is very nice. What I gained is actually, I gained a lot of experience. And of course, I was able to go to other places, and I really love traveling. And aside from that, aside from the experience, I had my friends from different countries in the ASEAN region. And one very good activity that we had is the collaboration with my Vietnam fellow friends, Pham Nga, from the Vietnam National Satellite Center. So we had a very good project, which was actually a funded project. No? And at the end of our collaboration through the ASEAN Science S&T Fellow, we were actually able to publish at least 2 research articles. So it was really a great experience to be part of the S&T Fellowship.
Great, thank you so much, Ruth. I know we all, many of us are also in the ASEAN Fellow batch, and you were the one who paved the way. Okay, the second person who raised their hand, Nuong, please. As the co-chair, the real co-chair of TISA right now, can you share your experience?
Thank you very much, and I also very glad to see similar faces again. And also, I would like to echo, I think, many of the speakers earlier about this Young Scientist Network, right? I think what I want to emphasize on with my recent experience is during the course 76 that we were, Thailand was a host, I'm sorry, course 77 that Thailand was a host in October. I think we have managed to help of our network regarding this Young Scientist Network to establish a discussion and dialogue on the BCG, which is a Thailand economic model based on the bioeconomy, circular economy, and green economy, which has been, I think, declared as a national agenda for this year. And also it will be carried on for next year as Thailand will be an APEC host economy. So with that, I think, of course, there are different interpretations and also different understanding regarding what is a bioeconomy, what is circular economy, and what is green economy. But I think with the specific perspective of the Young Scientist Network, that we actually turn off our judgment, and then we can also join hand and try to bring the best of every aspect and experience to move forward the economical development through this S&T network. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Nuong. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, I see a couple more hands rising. Wow, that's great. So Chai, would you like to share next?
Yeah, thank you so much, Sasi. So, Sai. I probably just like to echo also, to all of you, particularly Nuong, also, mentioning about, collaboration and having a network, means that, you have a platform that actually, bring all the people together. So I think, all of us would agree that, as an early career researchers or young scientists, no matter how you define young, so, the benefit of being young is that you're actually very passionate and you have a lot of idea, you have a lot of fire and you have a lot of ideas, to make things work, and you actually wanted to contribute whatever you have learned, the knowledge you have gained throughout, the many years of study, to benefit the society, make contribution to the country. However, I think one disadvantage or probably one limitation of being young is the experience. So, and also probably confidence level, and also the people network that you actually have, whatever you have probably is a very small bubble. So one of the probably the benefits of having young scientist network, be it a national network or regional network. So these allow all of these young people with a lot of ideas to get together, and we share courage, we share resources, and we share also like, you know, information to actually like, you know, expand like, you know, whatever idea we have. I think one thing good also about the Young Scientist Network is that like, you know, it's not just about all the young people getting together, but also like, you know, the other resources as like, you know, the assistance, help and attention from the senior scientists that actually like, you know, we could actually leverage on their experience and expand the network. So in my experience of like, you know, joining ASEAN Young Scientist Network or like, you know, as chairing the Young Scientist Network Malaysia. So what I see is that oftentimes like, you know, a small idea, of course, brilliant idea, so that being put forward. So, and this idea would actually grow in the discussion, in meeting and in talking to all the other people. So a project can become like, you know, from a very small one to a nationwide project and to a regional project. So this has been shown like, you know, to work in our ASEAN Young Scientists, like, you know, a lot of projects like responsible conduct of research project from originally just 3 researchers idea and grow into a nationwide and now in ASEAN level. So this is like, you know, one of the example of how all the brains come together with all the passion. So we burn a huge fire and it's actually like, you know, very, very infectious, I would say. Thank you.
I could even feel the energy of your talk, Chai. Thank you so much for sharing. And and yeah, next we have Queen from Vietnam. Could you please unmute first? Okay, yeah. That's great. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Sai, for facilitate this kind of like very interesting section for us to say our experience. And from my experience of our STI project, I think when we was young, we expect that we receive a lot of mentoring, coachings, and supporting. And for me, at the beginning, I see the project as like a small ecosystem to nurture the young scientists and for the further step in their careers. And now I also experience not only of like a small projects, but also like a joint project with the different like international partner. And through the ASEAN US Fellows Program, I was fortunately have 2 projects with other colleagues from Myanmar, from Thailand and Indonesia. And from those projects, we see like the role of the coordination, the role of supporting and for the mutual understanding and for to achieve the same goal, although we from different culture, different contexts, like economics and from different background and different perspective also. But we managed to share each other and support each other to achieve the goal. And those 2 projects actually funded by JASTIP. And through these 2 projects, I see a very clear reflect of what we are talking today about STI coordinators. So I like although we working from distance, but the mindset and the attitude for the coordination and the collaboration and also the support is very important. That without it, no project can be achieved their broader goal, especially when you have like interdisciplinary project that you really need the coordination and the support from your partners and from different stakeholders also. So thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I couldn't agree more on having the STI coordinator and how important it is to have the mentoring and coaching system for the young scientists, right? Okay, so maybe for the benefit of time, I'd like to move next to Vida. Would you like to share anything from your experience?
I thank you, Sai. So from my experience, basically, I start my project with passion of peatland, how to mitigate forest fire. So from that, I was lucky enough that it got some awards. And from that award, I actually managed to secure my place as a ASEAN Science and Technology Fellow 2019-2020. So with that exposure, it expanded, and then at the same time, I actually got ASEAN IVO project. So with that, it enhanced more. So it's a practice as well as the theoretical part, and then the community part. So all of the elements married together, and it's just a nice combination where it spiced things up. I have collaborators from respective countries, where initially it just started from the institute itself, but now it has expanded. And then I bring in a lot of collaboration from the country itself, because the country now sees, because of the credential that I have, I'm like get invited to do talks, as well as in the other regions. So the collaboration that we have, we invited each other to do the talk. So it builds up your confidence at the same time, and it is even giving you opportunities to share your passion of your research, your work to the others. So in a way, that is what the synergy is. This network actually created a way to expose and to showcase your work at the same time. So this was not available before, but with this network, I'm able to portray that. So I'm very fortunate to be part of it. So that's what my experience will be in terms of sharing this here.
Okay, thank you so much, Vida. I love when you said start with passion. I think we're young scientists, we have a lot of passion, right? And what we passion, and we start to build up the confidence and getting recognition. And sometimes starting with ASEAN and then coming back to our country as well. Okay, so thank you. So next I would like to ask Gao from Lao, please.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sai. And thank you for the organization that let me talk about today and to let me meet my own friends, ASEAN Fellow. Yeah, thank you. And as me, as the lecturer at the Faculty of Engineering, Environmental Engineering Department, so that's my, as the Vida, that at first I just want to do the research. I want to do the research. When I go to the research work and get a project, so that's make me to get more need, what the need is, need to, how to say, need to get experience and practice on the skill, not just skill of the work, just have need to experience on the skill of the communication and need to know the network. So that's one, the one thing for me is for how to improve that. One is the network. The network is the good thing, the goods that you need to know what they need. The need of government, the need of private sector, the need of students, the need of the researcher. That science need to focus on that. And after that, after I know the need, so I improve on my communication. Actually, I'm the one that I'm the science. So I don't like to talk much, but when I go to the science work, I need to talk much on that. So how people to listen to me. So that the communication is important for me, that I really learned, and especially from the many projects. One is from the JASTIP project or the project, the energy and education that I have, that get me to get involved in the ASEAN Science Fellow, that work that, and after I been that, so I feel that many ideas that come to my mind. So that's why I want to improve the how to manage the waste, or how to manage the environment by using the energy technology. So that I got that idea from the fellow work that during that time from my many friends that give me that. So that I can improve my idea, skill, and communication until now. That I talk a lot now. I can speak a lot. How to the government to listen to me, policy maker listen to me. That what we need them to listen to the science. Just thank you.
Thank you, Gail. Yeah, I agree that communication skills is one of the most important skills that we need as a researcher, because otherwise we won't be able to connect with other people, right? But based on what I heard from what you say, I think you are a pretty good communicator yourself. So next, maybe Amal, would you like to share your STI experience based on your network?
Thank you, Saskia and Sai. And I would like to use this chance to greet all friends from ASEAN Young Scientists Network, Kampanat, Luong, as well as Your Excellency Hun Sengheng and Kofidoro, and friends from ASEAN Science and Technology Fellowships. Nice to meet you all again. We have Vida, Pai, and Keo, and the others, Chai also. So again, we are talking about how we experience ourselves as young researchers, especially who just have returned from abroad. Sometimes you don't really know the networking constellation in your country, and sometimes that you really have to struggle to have this kind of opportunity to meet people who share the same field and idea. So having chances to be exposed in a forum consist of young scientists give you a really place to share your common thoughts, seeking opportunity and nurturing your career. And having a global network, you know, you can really have this opportunity in this forum. But I have a very unique experience as exactly. So if Sasi and Sai, if you can recall the event that you held, the TAISA held in 2018, when you tried to meet between scientists and museum people, it's very unique because it's not only bring the people in global networking, but accelerate our local network as well. So the seed that you planted 2 years ago now is growing growing well in our country. That our institution, Science and Technology Institution within the museum, have a really good collaboration. So thanks to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Amal. Yeah, well, for the event that you mentioned earlier, it was one of the events that TAISA hosted a couple of years ago. We actually had a workshop that we connect the young scientists from ASEAN member states, and we connect them with the representative from the Science Museum or Science Center. And that was a very successful event. Thank you for Amal and Chai and Fidel for joining us on that day. For the benefit of time, I'd like to end our question with the experience sharing from Pai for the last person for this question. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you for calling me. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm also happy to see everyone, and thank you to Dr. Chisato and Dr. Taro for this symposium. So I'm also an ASEAN SMT Fellow for 2019-2020. I won't be sharing that anymore because you have heard a lot. I will be sharing one Young Scientist Network in the Philippines. So it's called as Outstanding Young Scientists Incorporated. What's interesting about this OYC or Outstanding Young Scientist Inc. is you become a member once you become an Outstanding Young Scientist awardee by the National Academy of Science and Technology. So imagine the members ranging in age, not only from 30 to 40, but more than 40 years old up to 60 years old, but we still call it as a Young Scientist Network because it's called as Outstanding Young Scientist Inc. So, but the project experience would be involved in mentoring and educating high school and college students to be engaged and to be encouraged to join the field of science and research. So that's my experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pai. Well, at first I thought I had to get out at 45 for young scientists. I think I'll be young forever. Okay, as a young scientist, I think I'll still be young at heart. Okay, and then I think we'll try to. I think all of us will keep our passion, our energy up, even though if we're not labeled as young scientists, I think we're still our scientists and to do good for our nations and also our regions as well. Okay, so. I know that we have limited times and everybody try to put our experience in. So next is maybe let's try to move on to our second question. So the second one is and I would like to invite everybody to participate, not only this, but also the panelists can also join in the discussion, and the participant, you can also comment or provide ideas on it. All right, so the question is, how might we create coordination mechanism or tools as young scientists to spice up the scientific project? I mean, in your project, what do you see as that is the coordination mechanism, that is the best practice, or what tools that we use to make your STI project kind of interesting, beneficial, your outcome according to the plan and outstanding. And maybe you've seen anything that worked well for your project that you want to share, and anything that you wish when you see other project or your colleague wish you have. So everybody bring up your phone, okay? Please bring up now. I let you bring up your phone, and then scan in the QR code, okay? If you're available to scan in the QR code, or else you can go to mentimeter.com and put in the code 46574161. Okay, so there are two ways. Bring up your phone. I'm a teacher. I usually don't let my student bring up the phone, but now I'm letting you. And then scan, and then go to the Mentimeter, or use and put the code 46574161. And then can you put in, what do you think is the coordination mechanism, or tools, or what tips that you think that can spice up your project, that can make the coordination and project become successful, or think of new ways of the project? Okay, and then with this, we will see what are the ideas. Okay, so now people are sharing their ideas. Okay, there's a lot of communication network platform. Okay, good food. Oh, I like good food. Okay, and allow for differences. We learn a lot of successful stories. Okay, and then there would be a lot of friendship coming, do a lot of workshop, a lot of coffee. Okay, so in this kind of thing, you only have a limit of 25 character. Okay, so it's sometimes if you want to do it long, it's kind of hard. I see the word alcohol. I think I know who wrote in there alcohol. Okay, so also from our panelists. Okay, would anybody want to share some kind of mechanism and tool that when you start up STI project or be a part of the project, how was that? What is needed? Maybe I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but I think I can call on people. Can I call on Gampanat? Yeah, and he won't be mad at me. Gampanat, can you share with people that how TISA have a way of reaching the minister, and then we can provide kind of, he asked us to help like give him information about various topics. So can you tell us about that? I think this is what how did we go that far to see the minister?
Well, thank you very much, Sai. Well, I think, well, you have already posted half of the answer, but well, so as the National Young Scientist Network, TISA had an opportunity to get connected with the minister. So the current minister, well, our ministry name has changed to Ministry of Higher Education, Science, Research and Innovation. So we got a very generous minister, and then he provided us opportunity to meet him and actually share all the trends and also like the current state of the art of science to him, so that he'll be able to get new ideas. Because basically, if you are a minister, you'll be able to meet a lot of high-level people, right? Like all the people at the top management, and you'll be hearing a lot from them about the way to actually drive science, technology, and innovation, and also use science, technology, and innovation to drive the country. But you'll not actually have a good opportunity to meet new or fresh ideas. So that was the reason that he brought us in. And then also that provided good opportunity to TISA to be able to get engaged in the STI policy network or policy events. And also we get ourselves heard by the high level people and by the policymakers. And at the moment, he also still will ask us to go there maybe once in 2 or 3 months to actually bring in something new. So he just say only one thing, well, bring in something new. It's no need to be your member. It can be any, well, you can bring in any young scientist. Well, that can be also scientists from private sectors, to just provide him with some fresh information. And I think, well, this mechanism is a very good one. Thank you very much, Sai.
Okay, thank you very much, Kampanat. Can I ask like another one of our friends to share? How did you create the kind of coordination mechanism, or as a young scientist, how would you put your ideas to spice up the project? And then, or ideas come from what kind of ecosystem? I see a lot. I think the biggest one that I see is friendship. Yeah, so I think from friendship, it can lead to many things. Okay, so friends, friendship, well, I see good pitch, common goal, matchmaking, okay? A good matchmaking is not like a couple matchmaking, right? Okay, so there are many things that are doing here, and mentoring, good communications, okay? And then, oh, I see a little one called crisis. Sometime like COVID, there is sometimes a crisis, and then we have to find ways to find each other. If we can't meet in person, like our SIN fellows, I really miss every one of you guys. And then it would be great to meet in person, but we still have many activities that we can do online for now, and then we can find some new ideas or write proposals together, and so on and so forth. So okay.
I also see one interesting point, Sai. There's someone putting in lightning talks and also pitching and networking events. So I think I'd like to hear more from maybe a couple of those who type in the lightning talks, or I don't know, there are networking events too, right? So I'd love to hear more from that. I'm not sure who was the one who put that in though.
Yeah, so is it one of our panelists or one of the participants? If it's one of the participants, can they talk? Can they like ask questions, discuss questions? Maybe it would be great.
I saw Saito-san nodded, so it means yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. So if that, we would love to have your comment. Okay. Dr. Pudon. Okay, please.
ครับสวัสดีครับ Good afternoon ครับอาจารย์ Dr. Sonobe, Saito, and everyone. This is Puwadon Doidi speaking from Kasetsart Universities. Just to respond Dr. Sai and Dr. Satiton on this question. In my experience, I just would like to suggest that the tool that important for spicing up our project is not the material. It is our human activity. I mean, we have to get involved, like our friend already mentioned in the dashboard here, the friendship, whatever, so that the participation tool, or get involved with the people or the project, like Dr. Sonobe already conducted. I mean, the STI coordinator or coordination, something like that. We can also assume that this is a mechanism or tool to achieve the project or spine up the project. Because we know the people, I know Sai, I know Dr. Sonobe, so that our project will, okay, for example, I'm working the project for food energy in Laos. How can we conduct the conference in Laos if I don't know friend from Laos? So that I have to have a friend first, and then the mechanism will come later on, because some of our friends will help, because we don't know all the disciplines. But of course, we have to set up what is our topic, the issue, the same issue, the goal, place, and the date, something like that. Thank you very much, Dr. Sai. Just to respond. Otherwise, you may ask me the alcohol for paying you because I did not respond you, something like that.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
No one responds to me. You have to give me a tower.
I have to,
all right.
tower, two
yeah.
tower is okay, no problem.
Yeah, because I see my name in there. Who put my name in there? One is Sai as one of the tool, okay, to spice things up. All right. So thank you so much. And then now can I ask Chai, please? I see your hands up.
Yeah, so I probably just want to share a little bit, like, when talk about in research, right? So this is one of the experience we have, like, when we run a young researchers grant in Malaysia. So this is under the Young Scientist Network. So in our experience of running the first young researchers grant, so we actually set up a model, like, the titles, like, it's actually based on the grand challenge. So there are certain types of, like, issues that's already been identified. So we put up a call, like, for young researchers to actually put in their proposals. So one of the main criteria is actually, like, the proposal need to be multidisciplinary. So it cannot be just, like, one researchers. So you need to be a team size, like, with researchers from different universities, from different fields. So, and over the time, so we receive, like, the proposal, and after that, like, because we know that proposal from young researchers, it might not be perfect. So we want to provide also, like, a platform for them to improve, like, their proposal. So then we call for workshops for all those, like, shortlisted project. So proposal that has been shortlisted. So we call for workshops, like, to ask all the teams to come in to sit down. So we give them, like, workshops on how to improve their proposal. So what are the requirements from the funders? So how to form their problem statement, and how to better improve, like, to look into the applicability, like, the output of the research itself, like, could it be applied in the future that industry might come in. So what type of industry come in? So during the workshop, we call in industry to match them with the industry. So the industry listen to their proposal and give comment. So we call in, like, senior researchers to listen to the young scientist proposal and give their comments so that they improve within that workshop. So it's a 1 week, 3 days workshop. And also, to our surprise, is that, like, this is a multidisciplinary team science project. So it means that there are 3 or 4 researchers. And very surprised to us is that, like, this is quite a number of them, like, that is actually the first time they meet their partners, the collaborators of the project. And no wonder is that, like, why, like, certain type of project, we find that on the technical part, it doesn't jive in or it doesn't answer. So you don't see it as a whole, but you see a separate project that put under one big project. And eventually what you know is that this is the first time they meet. So if we do not call for this workshop that to put everyone together, so it's one of the requirements, all the collaborators need to come in. So they might only have the talk after they get the award of the grant itself. And you can see it will be probably too late, like, to improve it after you get the award. So of course, like, during the workshop, we train them how to pitch the project, and the final event is actually a pitching event in front of 10 judges from the industry, from academic, and from the public as well. So different opinions given. So this is, like, an award, grant award program, as well as, like, a training programs, like, for them to actually learn and improve. So we provide also the platform for them to network, for them to improve, match them with the industry, and match them, like, with the other potential collaborator after this project end. Where do they see the project would go? So, but not just end of this project and end of everything, but expand. So this is something that I would like to probably share, the matchmaking, the networking opportunity, and also how, like, the different players come into the whole thing, like, as part of the training for the young researchers also. Thank you.
Oh, great. Thank you so much, Chai, for sharing with us the great kind of matchmaking event. It's like capacity building and linkage between academia and industry. So it's like, yeah, it ticks all the check boxes. So thank you. Okay, so next, can I move on to Ruth, please? Okay, please share.
Yeah, hi. I was actually thinking so much of this question. So I cut the question into 2 parts: coordination mechanism, and then something that will spice up scientific projects. So my answer would be actually based on my experience. in my experience, what dampens researchers to pursue more and to dampen their passion as well as their spirit in doing a lot of researches would be the delay in the processing of a lot of factors involved in the research process. So what do I mean by that? Too much of bureaucracy, too much of step-by-step procedure for you to reach the goal will actually dampen the individual, the researcher. So in my project, what I did is actually to open the communication system. So which means openness, opening the opportunity, the gate of opportunities to my research assistants, to my team. No? And then also making things less complicated, or if better, making things simple. So if you can actually allow a certain project to work in a one-step procedure, that would be great. Unlike asking someone for them to reach the goal, they would need to have 5 or 10 more steps. So let's make things simple. So that I think would spice up scientific projects and also would hasten the result that we want to get. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Ruth. I do agree with open communication and making things simple. Sometimes, like all of us, also in the ASEAN country and maybe other countries as well, in order to get something approved, you need 50 signatures. So, and talk to about 100 people. I'm overreacting, but some is true. Okay, but if we can talk to each other, understand, have open communication and trust, instead of just checking all the time. And I think that would help free up and also provide more innovative thoughts or creativity to spice up the scientific project. So thank you so much, everyone, for giving your ideas how to spice, to make things more spicy with friendship and matchmaking and our networking platform here. All right. Okay. So I think we're good for this question. And so next one, I would like to lead on the last topic of our discussion.
Right, thank you, Sai. So we'll move on to the last question. So if anyone that have anything to share and haven't unmute yourself yet, this will be your last chance. So once we already mentioned about how to spice up our research and STI collaboration, I think it's worth mentioning what Sonobe-san have already gave a talk earlier today of how we could make a balance between 4 elements of the STI research coordination. For example, some of them might be emphasized more on the top-down approach. Some of them might be more to the bottom-up approach. But now that we'll promote the roles of STI coordinator, maybe we could make a balance between those 4 elements. And that's how I like to post the last question for everybody here. What would be an ideal coordination mechanisms for young scientists in the dimension of the 4 elements? What would you think would be a good tools to make a balance between these elements, and how could we promote the roles of the coordinators to support us in doing so? So just like Sai said, we don't want to put anyone on the spot, but it would be great if you can just raise your hands and then share what your ideas are and your thoughts and maybe what you wanted to see in the future. Okay, Vida, you're the first, please.
Right. I think I would like to coin what Sonobe Sensei is saying, the mentor-mentorship relationship. I think that is one of the things that we are lacking and missing, because for us, we are young scientists, but eventually we are not really young, but we don't have enough mentorship because the mentorship only ends at that point, So, but we have friendship, but then the thing is, it does not expand to the stage where it, evolve. Because the project might be different for each other, so you can't really collaborate in that sense. But the mentorship will be. I like what Sonobe is going through. So I would like to have something like that, because one of the disadvantage that I'm facing at the moment is basically the publication. I got quite a number of research projects under me, but I do not have enough time to do the publication, so I can only do 2 or 3 publications in a year, but I have this list of projects to actually do it. So I don't know how other people are doing it, but I would like to be coach or mentor, saying that, okay, this is the best way to do it. Maybe some a positive way of looking at it. I would like to hear stories of that, That's why I was keeping saying successful stories is one of the good things that we need to share with each other, so we can learn from each other. That's the best thing, one of the things that we can actually do. So I would like to hear from others as well, but I think I like that mentorship part. That would be the best way to go forward. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Vida. Yes, so I couldn't agree more on having the mentorship to be brought into the platform that could promote us on how to initiate the collaboration for either like the existing one or even the one in the future for the new projects, right? And I think if we could do something as an international platform to connect between ASEAN member states and Japan, that will be one of the ideal outputs that we could have here. Next, I'd like to hear what Hathaitip have to say, please.
Thank you, Dr. Sasiton. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Actually, I'm from Thailand. I'm from Chiang Mai Ratchapat University, so I am a lecturer. So in my point, I would like to say that the mechanism that will be should be in the balance between the 4 elements. So by the way, it depends on what kind of project that we are going to develop or what kind of project we are going to achieve. So according to Dr. Taro Sonobe, that he has introduced about the tailor-made model that will be suited for each kind of the project. So the way that we can help as the STI coordinator, so we can help to be in between each stakeholder. For example, we can be in the middle between the government sector, policy maker, for example, and we can be in between with the private sector and other related stakeholder to be gathered, everyone together to be in the same way, in the same direction for every kind of the development. For example, what we have done for the development of the university in Thailand, because we are faces to the disruption. So for the disruption, Thailand University try to create their own way to be success in the future. So we work together with the NEXPO. The NEXPO is the person who create the policy for all university in Thailand. So this kind of the model, we need lecturers from each university will be the core team, will be the representative and work together as the coordinator as well. And we find out the way to move forward for each university in the future. So this will be this will be we can say that it will be tailor-made one that depends on the specific project. So in my opinion, these 4 elements can be various. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hathaitip, where her nickname is Ice. Okay, and then to share the experience about the policy in Thailand and how, like, as young scientists, we do help with the policymaker in the university level and hopefully on the university side, the bigger picture of this level. All right, so next, can I ask Pai to share your thoughts on the balancing of the element?
Yeah, hi. Mine is just simple. So first is open and continued communication. So hopefully those 4 elements could match up with that. So groups like this or events like these, and maybe the fellowship that we had, like the ASEAN SMP, would be part of the open and continued communication. And then second is more of a bonus one. If there could be like an incentive or award for those who would be joining and putting together all those 4 elements, so that would also be good. And the third one is just an external factor, considering all elements and considering all our diverse backgrounds in countries. So this external factor is related to the time difference that we have. So it's just quote unquote time difference, so that we could all put together the mechanisms and the elements. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, actually, I would like to hear what our participants would like to share too. And I actually see one of the hands rising from, it's not there anymore. I thought I saw like a person having his or her hand raised, but well, that's fine. If
Oh yeah,
okay.
the hands back from the attendee.
All right. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, so sorry if I mispronounce your name. Would you like to share anything? I think you can just unmute yourself, and if you couldn't do so, you can just let us know in the chat box. I'm not sure if Saito-san will be able to help her unmute herself.
I think she can unmute because she got the talking permit, right?
Oh, okay.
Or not?
Oh, well. Maybe we'll just move to another one of our panelists.
Okay.
Oh, she's back. Okay.
I think. Dr. Nui, can you hear me? Can you like unmute and, if possible? Well, Cecily, if not, I think we have to move on a bit and maybe come back to her later.
Sure. We'll have about 10 minutes left for our roundtable discussion. So maybe Kampanat, would you like to share your thoughts here?
Well, sorry for coming back again. So I would like to touch back a little bit to 4 elements that Sonobe-san talked earlier. It's STI-driven Grand Challenge or Grand Challenge-driven STI, economic growth-driven STI, and conscience-driven STI. I think all of them are really important, but the priority of each element can be different according to the country and also according to the time. So I think the very good mechanism is actually to communicate. So I really would like to echo what Pai has said, that we need to communicate a lot to see that, well, what are the real situation of each country at that moment, and which kind of research or which kind of coordination would really match the demands of those countries at that moment. So I think this is something that Thai Young Scientists Academy is also doing quite a lot to communicate with other academy, whether national academy or regional academy, or even the Global Young Academy, because we think that communication is actually very important to get to know each other and try to match well, and see that, well, which of their elements really match well with our interests. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kampanat. Okay, and Gao, would you like to share?
Oh yeah, thank you. For this point, I do agree with Dr. Kampanat and Pai that the one thing that we need to focus on the communication. But however, before that we go to the communication, we need to go forward. The first one, we have to go focus on the need or the demand of the government, private sector, the researcher, or the student, or everyone that need who we will communicate with. So if we know the need, so we will go to the right. If we go to this person, what we need to talk with that person, that what we can to get that involved or get the interest from them to us. I think that's really important to get this kind of coordinator, because as the scientific or researcher, the communication with the researcher itself, we know each other. But when we go to the other people, they don't understand what we talk. So that we need to improve on the communication based on the need of the government, not just government, private sector, student, or the researcher, or the business person, that we need to communicate that. So in order them to get involved in to understand the STI, especially for environment improvement. So people, they don't understand what the STI for environment improvement. They just understand, you got just separate the waste, but they don't know what to do in the future. So that we need to talk about that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gail. So I'd like to thank everyone that provide your ideas and share your experience here with us for the Roundtable 3. I think everyone is like me. We kind of think that what is the STI coordinator? And then once we start listening to many people, and I think that it's part of the skill sets of STI coordinator, like Ruth was saying, is much needed in mediating the communication and bridging the 4 elements in order to balance the 4 elements. And how do you do that? And you do that with trying to get a win-win situation and trying to bring out the need the need for each of the stakeholder and to make it all the benefit for the project, for the improvement, for sustainability. So I feel that all of us, not everyone can be the STI coordinator with the same skill sets. Okay, well, like I believe I'm the one, the entertainment coordinator. I bring the enjoyment for people. I see people laughing, I know. Okay, I bring the enjoyment so people can be freely, have fun in talking to each other. I try to build confidence and to people, okay, so like that. Or another coordinator can help with the policymaker if they know people and bridging and scouting who could match. And sometime, and if this person cannot talk to this person, communicate, there's another person or top 3-4 person. So the coordinator has to have a great mindset and has to have a positive and optimistic mindset that things can be done and are new ways of doing things. So know how to integrate, how to moderate, how to connect. But at the end, you can't do it alone. You have to have your friends. And you like working with your friends more, okay? And not just a colleague or network, it's just be friends. So I considered every one of you all here my friends, and I hope that we would have a chance to work together, to coordinate together in the future. Alrighty, so I think that's the conclusion of this session. Okay, coordinator and friendship and networking. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Really good session.
It was a very, very entertaining and also interactive roundtable. Thank you very much for all the participants and chairs. Now, sorry for the, we are a little bit delayed with the program, but we are going to the last part of the program, open discussion. If you allow to stay a little longer, we want to have an open discussion for about 30 minutes until about, from about 30 minutes from now. Maybe we could touch on the very short summary of the discussion points from the previous discussion. And if the audience from the floor have additional questions, we can respond to that. Okay, it's a great pleasure to introduce the moderator, Dr. Engineering Muhammad Maki. He's a Secretary of Institute for Research Community Services, Andras University, Indonesia. After his studies in Bogor Agricultural University, IPB, he obtained PhD in Agricultural Systems and Engineering at the ASEAN Institute of Technology. He then invited for collaboration in Greece and the Netherlands. He also works as an advisor and consultant for all palm companies in Indonesia. He was the 2018-2019 ASEAN US Science and Technology Fellow. Based on his rich experience in numerous publication grants, intellectual property right, mostly related to oil palm technology, he always provides with us valuable advice to this initiative from the very beginning. Thank you for waiting, Maki-san. Are you ready?
Yes, thank you very much, Sonobe-san and Saito-san. Okay. Sorry, can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Sonobe-san and Saito-san, as well as Sai-san. So I think you know why the oil palm is at the center of your survey. It's me. Okay. Thank you very much. So we have 3 discussion sessions related to the STI, starting from pooling the talent, and then evaluation the landscape, and also investigates the studies of the STI, as well as focus on human resource development and what are the Asian and Japan already learned from the past 10 years experience of the STI. And lastly, we also have the discussion related to the STI perspective or point of view from the young scientists. So the final question is how we could together integrate this all knowledge, this all experience, and this all idea from all of the scientists that already joined in our session today, and also from previous opportunity. So we would like to open the discussion session regarding to the what should we integrate in the STI coordination between ASEAN and Japan, and where we should start the action, and why we need the STI integration, for what purpose, and when we are planning to integrate the STI into a one universal platform for the ASEAN and Japan scientific world. And then which aspect should we should we prioritize for the initial stage of STI integration? And we also should discuss who will act to materializing this strategy. And lastly, we could also discuss on how we could achieve the strategy, so we can receive or we can produce the best results in the integration of STI in ASEAN and in Japan, and also for the benefit of mankind and the world. So for the first opportunity, we would like to invite from the session chair, perhaps Mr. Dr. Mui Deng Hong, and then Dr. Kwok, as well as Dr. Ngok Heng Hart, and then Dr. Porsri. We also would like to invite Dr. Ardianto, Dr. Nuki, Dr. Atit, Dr. Lin Nguyen, Dr. Muhammad Amran Rizi, and of course, we also would like to invite Dr. Sasitorn and then Dr. Urajit. So we, in this discussion, we really hope that we could create a universal platform on how we can integrate the STIs, because separated ideas, separated strategies, or dispersed efforts will not produce a great results or immediate results for the STI integration. So if we work together, if we communicate together, and we have the same idea, and we have the same effort to produce the STI solution for the ASEAN and Japan, then and only then we could promote and we could communicate these strategies to other participants or to the wider recipients to produce the integrate STIs in 2022 or beyond. So perhaps from Dr. Sonobe.
Okay. Thank you very much, Maki-san, for moderating this open discussion. So I think I'm very happy to be the sandbag again to get many ideas from each panelist. I think that your response to the some question that I think probably how to materialize this strategy or what would be the needs for the STI coordination. We introduced some of the background, but probably I would like to mention 2 or 3 points. One is what is the needs for the STI coordination or needs of the kind of integration or communication. So one thing is that we are facing a very, very diverse social issues or multi-faced issue or interwined issues. And so these kind of issues are really become complicated through the development of science discovery. So I think that first we need to integrate, need to communicate, just not only the academia and the industry, but also within the discipline, scientists, different discipline. So we need this kind of communication or coordination. And then also that kind of motivation or needs are also very diverse at each place. So I think we also need to have such kind of the atmosphere or culture to respect to such kind of the differences or diversity. And then third one, I would like to mention about the continuities in terms of the friendship, in terms of the mission, or in terms of the activities towards some common goal. I think this kind of the continuity or consistency towards sort of the global challenge would be also very important. So I think how we can set up the common goal among the different diverse culture, but probably we can customize the several sub theme to match with each condition. So I'm not sure whether I can put some of the idea to this floor, but I hope we would like to listen more and more diverse idea or some kind of a communication from this participant. Thank you very much, Maki-san.
Thank you very much, Sonobe-san. And we would like to also invite Sai. I think you also have great idea about communication, continuation, friendship, and so on. And your idea or your solution from your side is very welcome.
Okay, so thank you very much. Okay, I like being the moderator more than sharing. Okay, so thank you. I think it depends on what kind of objective we want, because like this is like the grand challenge, right? And how do we combine the different country platform or different young scientists platform together to achieve the grand challenge. So at first, definitely we have to check stock. Check stock meaning what do we do? Okay, so a lot of the experience that I see people share, we're basically doing the same thing too, same activity, and sometimes with the same activity, it's different outcome. So it's kind of great to see how it's culturally, is it different as well? Because we need to understand ASEAN, okay, even though we're one, but we still have different cultures. And then that might be in a factor. So we need to check stock each other and then see what activity we're doing, what is similar, what is different, and how we can do a synergize from each other. And by starting, I do want to go back to the first activity that I do for ASEAN that made me fell in love or have passion regarding to the coordinator is the ASEAN S&T Fellow, which many of us are here today. And then the way that they groom us, the way that they provide us to help us understand the way we can be the policy advocacy. But in the end, the scientists can also be coordinators and help. And not only just by training, but by embedding ourselves with the policymaker. And there are other like talent mobility in Thailand or in other area where we embedded ourselves with industry. So those kind of experiences will shape the way. And then for us, and now we're trying to give back so to the others. So I do agree we need to train STI coordinators, and that next would be training the trainer in the kind of like, say mentor-mentee relationship. So it's, if you see Dr. Hataichip, and I think I'm dragging her from my university, I'm dragging her to ASEAN and APEC. So we're trying to do this as a team. So if one of us trying to coordinate and help mentor others coming, so it's more organic. I think it's from bottoms up, and that would last longer. Yeah, kind of that thing. Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sai. So your idea, I think I would like to summarize your idea is we can integrate the SDA through cultural approach, because we are Asian and we are very diverse, but we are one. Okay, and instead of coordination, I think it is better for us to team up. So coordinating is a little bit different with creating a team. But when we are creating a team, then we have the common goal and common motivation. And this is the hardest part, to have the same point of view for all of us, because we have a very diverse culture, we have a very diverse motivation, and we also have a very different point of view, even for same thing, even for one same problem. So I think we, instead of narrowing our perspective for integrating the SDIs, instead we should widening and outreach our arms to other actors as well as participants, even the policymakers, the business actor, as well as the social head of social status in our society, because in Indonesia we also still consider the elders, or the elder one is to be listened, to be respected. So who is the actor that are respected in our society? It will be easier to us to approach him or her instead of reaching out the whole society in that location. So this also have been common to be practiced in Indonesia, and perhaps in Thailand as well, and maybe in Malaysia as well. So because if you have one or two person or people that can move the society with his or her words, and then 50 or 60% of job is already done. Yes, thank you very much. So I think for the integration, we still have to discuss regarding of when should we launch the STI integration for ASEAN and Japan. And please, from Dr. Norbert Norris.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Norbert Norris Palguera. I'm from the Philippines. Actually, I have this idea because I noticed that most members of STI coordinators are in the field of the hard sciences. These are physical or natural sciences like chemistry, engineering, mathematics. chemistry, biology, and I myself, I'm a social scientist. My field is public administration. So I'm thinking that what if we include some social science in this network? Not many, but maybe one or two. Because if you put many, it would be a lot of discussion. You know, social scientists, they always discuss on that. But if you put one historian or one policy analyst, then they can help in the twisting, in contributing to policy. If you put sociologists as a member of this network, then they can pinpoint what people or what sector of society to concentrate on. So this is just my idea. If we put policy analysts, then maybe they can help in proposing what kinds of policy to promote science and technology in our countries. So this is just my idea. Me being a social scientist, but I teach science, technology, society in the Philippines.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bonifacio Falguera. Thank you very much for your input. Yes. So we need to approach the integration from two prongs. First, through hard science, and secondly, through soft science or social science. Yes, because communicating knowledge to other people need a certain expertise and experience. And we could communicate easily in our in this forum, for example, because we have a similar perspective. However, if we communicate our idea to other actor or other personnel, even in the same country, they will have different thinking about what we said and what we delivered, and therefore it could be a pro or contra motivation for them. So communicating not only in scientific terms, but also in social approach terms, like Dr. Bonifacio suggested, it will be very important for integrating our STI.
Yes, thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
My experience is that social scientists like us, we can also contribute to the development of hard sciences. We can share in what they call this one, in tweaking the minds of students. We also teach students, so we can tell them, just like my experience in the Philippines. I always tell my students, focus more on research and less on the exams. I tell my students that exams may be important, but research is more important than exams. So that's what I tell my students. So maybe I can contribute to development of science and technology.
Okay, thank you very much. So in our plan for integrating the STI as soon as possible, we should decide or discuss as well in this forum, what should we do next after this symposium? What should we do? Because without any real action and real approach to the policymaker or the government, or even to the academicians, the integration of STI will be a long way to go, or a long shot to achieve. So please. Okay, thank you very much. Dr. Sasitorn, please.
Thank you, Mackie. Actually, I like to echo that the STI coordinator project should have started earlier, because that would benefit most of us. And it actually kind of started but scattered around. It's not centralized. So I think it will be best based on the panel discussion that we have this afternoon. It seems like we all agree that we need like common goals. We need to pay the same contribution to address the global issues, and maybe that will lead us to the high quality proposals in the end. And having that in mind, that reflect to what we have in TAISA, the Thai Young Scientists Academy, because we've been trying to build several sets of skills in among our members too. For example, we have 3 pillars of improving the science communication skills. And the second one is how do we empower the member and the young scientists in Thailand and the region? And also how do we connect to the policymakers? And I think those 3 elements are what we could have as a foundation on how to get everything started. And it basically been addressed by most of the national academies, but just haven't been centralized yet. That's my thoughts. Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sasitran. So the integration needs a strategy, because perhaps we already have the resource for Japan and ASEAN STI network, for example, in Thai Young Scientist Academy. But this is all scattered around, and we have to gather all, perhaps through a hub. For instance, to gather the STI activities in Thailand, we need person in charge that can identify, communicate, and group all the STI into one common goal. And then we could also have one in Indonesia and one in Malaysia and so on. And this hub will be the backbone of communication for the central STI coordination in Japan and ASEAN. Because without this hub delivering information peer to directly to a person or to a group, will not easily translate it into a similar goal or similar effort to achieve the common goal. But perhaps there is some miscommunication and or different ideas at the receiving ends. So thank you very much for inform us that there are a lot of STI actions around ASEAN that we might not have identified yet. So identifying the STI in each country or Asian members and in Japan will be it could be our first priority to create a centralized STI for integrating all the efforts in ASEAN and Japan to reach the same goal. Thank you very much, Sasito. So we still have a few time left, maybe not much, but I think since we already answered of what, where, and why, as well, and when, the final question is, who would act for integrating the STI? Is it the Kura, or is it the ASEAN Science and Technology Fellows, or is it a group of scientists that could invest their times and efforts to create the foundation structure for STI integration in to achieve our goal? Thank you very much, Chisato-san.
Okay, thank you very much for the talk. And as some of you pointed out, there's existing platform and hubs. And today we referred the friendship and human network as well. For your reference, endorsed by ASEAN COSTI, APPLY is planning to hold another online discussion early next year in January, probably around 24, 25th, or 26th. A couple of hours online event, and this is a communal time we can discuss again more closely. And you may realize that today's symposium was the fruit of all the collaborators from ASEAN out of their philanthropic, voluntary, from their goodwill. All the co-organizers and main players contributed to plan this event. So I hope we can work together again early next January. Sonobe-san, would you like to add?
Yes, thank you very much, Saito-san, to introduce and a very, how do you say, encouraging message. And then, yes, definitely, as you know, we share very, very good passions together from the all participants. And then I think today's kickoff symposium really, how do you say, important common opportunity or platform or event to think about what is STI coordination and then what is the elements to be discussed. And then to respond to the Maki-san's answers, and I would like to show again this slide again. So yesterday and today's symposium is a kind of the kickoff for the second round of online series of discussion. And we would like to, really appreciate our common idea generates from all ASEAN and Japan. And we would like to follow up these kinds of the agenda or item from the next January, monthly, and the second one would be the February, the third one would be the March. And then we would like to shape up the proposal or concept to share with the ASEAN and Japan next opportunity. So I think and also please be aware of that next 2 years, ASEAN and Japan will celebrating the very important year of the 50th anniversary. I'm not sure what kind of the proposal or idea will be generated, but I think we can think about a good timeline. Maybe in year 2023, we will still have the 2 years. So I think that we can set something like the target milestone on the 2023 as a common timeline. And we should better to share this kind of the idea together monthly or timely or anytime through this kind of the online platform or friendship. So this is my additional information. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Sonobe-san. And that will conclude our discussion session this afternoon. With great happiness, I would like to summarize that all of us have the same goal to promote the STI in Japan and ASEAN and to achieve the similar goal for the benefit of all of us, not only in the term or using the approach of hard science, but also using approach of cultural and soft science, as well as communication, friendship, consistencies, and synergies. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. The time is returned to the Sonobe-san. Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you very much, Maki-san. Terima kasih. Sorry for the lack of time. We gradually need to wrap up this symposium today. If you have additional questions or comments, please feel free to contact us. You find our contact to the love letters to the ASEAN Center. And in an effort to improve our future event, we welcome your suggestions for the next step. So please fill in the feedback form through the link. It will be in the chat box as well. And as I said, based on the discussion today, in end January, around 24th, 25th, or 26th, we will plan to organize another online discussion endorsed by ASEAN COSTI. So if you wanted to talk more and propose something new, please feel free to join us. Okay, hopefully I cannot wrap up well enough, but today's discussion was very exciting and heartwarming for me. I hope that all the participants has raised awareness of the necessity of STI coordinators. We can definitely extend our network, strengthen our network across countries. Okay, we'd like to thank all the participants, distinguished guests and panelists, and hope to see you again very soon. Thank you very much. Arigatou gozaimashita.
Arigatou gozaimashita.
Thank you.
Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Terima kasih
See you
atas
next time.
Bye. Thank you.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Maki-san, thank you very much.
Maki-san, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Keo-san, cop chai lai lai la.
ขอบใจคือกัน ขอบใจ Thank you also.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
Sharida sensei, terima kasih.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Sato-san, thank you.
Thank you, Jack Sensei.
Taro Sensei, thank you. Yeah, I'll email you a proposal. You know, I have a very good proposal. It is about, you know, it is about getting what is common among scientists.
Among scientists.
Yeah, getting their background and look what is common among them.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a proposal on that. Maybe I'll give you a copy. Maybe they can apply it in other ASEAN countries, maybe Japan, maybe Philippines. I already made a proposal. Maybe I submit it to my university, but maybe other people from ASEAN can also do the same in their countries, same kind of research.
Okay.
Thank you.
Salamat po. We really appreciate Jack-san's insights and
insight. Yeah, to include social scientists, like me. You know, you know, social scientists. They are like historians. Maybe not maybe only very few, maybe one or two. Because if you put a lot of social scientists, they would talk and talk and talk, right? But if you put only one or two, that's good. Social scientists who have interest in science, in chemistry or in physics or in mathematics, like historians, maybe sociologists, maybe psychologists, maybe anthropologists, maybe policy analysts like me. So if so we can help in proposing policies for science and technology. So that's fine.
You're the representative, the sociologist.
Yeah. Social scientists. So social
science.
Yeah. So see you around. Okay.
Yeah. Salamat po.
Salamat.
Salamat po.
Okay, salamat.
Yes.